Hello, I am your host, Ethan, and tonight I will guide you gently into a deep and peaceful sleep. Before we begin our journey, allow your body to begin relaxing slowly. Let the events of the day drift away like sand carried softly across the desert wind. Take a slow breath in through your nose and release it gently through your mouth. Again, breathe in slowly and breathe out softly. One more deep breath and let it drift away. Now bring your attention to the top of your head. Allow the small muscles of your scalp to relax, your forehead becoming smooth and calm. Let the space around your eyes soften, your eyelids growing comfortably heavy. Relax your cheeks, your jaw loosening slightly, your tongue resting gently in your mouth. Now allow the calm feeling to move down your neck, your shoulders slowly releasing any tension they carry today. Feel that relaxation moving through your arms, down into your hands and into your fingertips. Now bring your awareness to your chest, your lungs rising slowly as you breathe in and falling gently as you breathe out. Your breathing calm, slow and steady. Allow that peaceful sensation to move into your stomach, your abdomen softening, warm and relaxed. Now let the calm feeling flow down into your legs, your thighs becoming heavy, your knees soft, your calves loose and comfortable, all the way down to your ankles, your feet and your toes, your entire body now resting quietly, peaceful, still, and comfortable. Now, as your body rests, your mind begins to wander far away to an ancient land of deserts, gardens, and quiet wisdom. Tonight, we travel to the lands of Ancient Persia, a place of vast, golden deserts, caravans moving slowly along the Silk Road, and peaceful gardens filled with flowing water and shade trees. Imagine the evening sky above the Persian plateau. The sun has just set beyond distant mountains. The air is warm, but the desert wind has begun to cool the land. Above you, thousands of stars appear across the quiet night sky, brighter than you may have ever seen before. In the distance, a small caravan moves slowly across the sand, camels stepping calmly along an ancient trade road, their bells ringing softly, a gentle rhythmic sound carried across the desert air. The caravan approaches a peaceful oasis, a small place of water, trees, and rest. Tall date palms sway quietly in the warm evening breeze. A small garden grows beside the water. Stone walls surround the garden, protecting it from the desert winds. At the center of the garden, a narrow stream flows slowly between rows of cypress trees, the sound of moving water calm and steady. Beside this garden sits a small pavilion of carved stone, and there, resting quietly on a wooden bench, sits an elderly Persian storyteller. His name is Farid. Farid is known across many caravan routes, not for wealth, not for power, but for the peaceful wisdom found in his stories. Travelers often stop at this oasis just to sit beneath the trees and listen. Tonight, you quietly enter the garden as well. The air smells faintly of jasmine flowers and desert sand. The fountain water flows gently beside you. Farid looks up from the lantern beside him, its warm golden light illuminating his calm face. He smiles softly and begins to speak. Long ago, he says quietly, in a small Persian village at the edge of the great desert, there lived a young traveler named Arman. The night breeze moves slowly through the palm trees. The lantern flame flickers gently, and the ancient Persian story has just begun. The garden grows quiet again. The lantern beside Farid glows softly, and the peaceful sound of water continues flowing through the narrow stone channel. You sit comfortably beneath the tall cypress trees, the night air cool and gentle around you. Farid looks toward the small stream for a moment, as if remembering something from long ago. Then he continues the story. Arman, he says softly, was not yet a traveler. He was simply a young man living in a small village beside the desert. You imagine the village now. Small houses made of clay and stone, low walls protecting them from the desert wind. Beyond the village, the golden sand stretches endlessly toward the horizon. And far in the distance, ancient trade roads cross the desert like quiet ribbons. Every few weeks, a caravan would arrive. Long lines of camels walking slowly across the sand, carrying silk, spices, and stories from distant lands. The travelers would stop briefly in the village, watering their animals, resting beneath the shade of date palms. Young Arman often watched them from the edge of the road. He listened to the sounds of the caravan bells, soft metal chimes moving gently with each step of camels. To Arman, those sounds carried mystery, adventure, endless roads beneath the stars. One evening, as the sun lowered behind the distant mountains, another caravan arrived. The desert sky glowed deep orange and gold, warm light stretching across the sand. Arman walked slowly toward the caravan camp. Camels were kneeling quietly in the sand, travelers unpacking bundles of goods, small cooking fires beginning to glow in the twilight. And near the center of the camp sat an old caravan guide, his face weathered by many journeys, his eyes calm and observant. The man noticed Arman watching from a distance. He smiled slightly and motioned for the young man to come closer. Arman approached slowly. "Do you wish to travel?" the old guide asked gently. Arman hesitated, then nodded. "Yes," he said, "I want to see the lands beyond the desert." The old guide studied him for a moment, then looked out across the quiet sand dunes. "Many young men say the same thing," he said. "They imagine travel as excitement, adventure, constant discovery." The old guide paused, listening to the wind moving across the dunes. But the desert teaches something different. Arman listened carefully. The desert teaches patience. Caravans move slowly. Sometimes we walk all day, and the land around us does not seem to change. The sun rises, the sun sets, and still the road continues. Nearby, a camel bell rings softly in the evening air. Many travelers grow restless, the guide continued. They want the journey to move faster. But the desert does not hurry. The guide turned back toward Arman. "If you wish to travel with us tomorrow," he said quietly, "you must first learn the pace of the desert." The young man nodded again. That night, Arman barely slept. The thought of leaving the village filled his mind with curiosity and quiet excitement. Before sunrise, the caravan began to move. The desert sky still dark, stars slowly fading as morning approached. The camels stood and stretched. Bundles were secured, water skins tied carefully to the saddles. And slowly, the caravan began its journey, step by step, across the silent Persian desert. Arman walked beside the old guide, listening to the soft rhythm of camel footsteps, the gentle chime of bells. The road ahead stretched endlessly across the sand. And the first lesson of the desert journey was only beginning. The caravan moved slowly across the Persian desert. Step by step, camel hooves pressing gently into the warm sand. The early morning sun begins to rise behind the distant hills, soft golden light spreading quietly across the endless dunes. Arman walks beside the old caravan guide. At first, the journey feels exciting. Every hill of sand feels new. Every distant horizon feels mysterious. But after many hours, the desert begins to feel different. The sand dunes stretch endlessly in every direction. the sky wide and open above, and the caravan continues moving at the same calm pace. Slow, steady, patient. The bells tied to the camels ring softly with each step. A quiet rhythm, almost like breathing. Arman looks ahead, then behind. The landscape seems unchanged. He finally turns to the old guide. "Have we traveled very far?" he asks. The old guide smiles slightly. "In the desert," he says gently, "distance is not measured the way young travelers imagine." They continue walking together, the warm wind brushing softly across the sand. Many people think travel means reaching the destination quickly. The guide continues. But the desert teaches something else. Arman listens quietly. The journey itself shapes the traveler. Every slow step across the sand changes the way we see the world. The caravan climbs a long, gentle dune. At the top, the view stretches far across the Persian plateau. Soft rolling dunes, small patches of desert grass, and distant mountains appearing like shadows along the horizon. The caravan pauses briefly, camels resting quietly, travelers drinking small amounts of water. The old guide sits upon a smooth stone, watching the desert wind ripple across the sand below. Arman sits beside him, still observing the endless landscape. At first, the guide says softly, "The desert may appear empty, but if you look carefully, you will see that it is full of quiet life." He points toward the sand. Small footprints cross the surface, tiny desert animals moving during the cooler hours. Birds glide silently through the bright sky above, searching for water among distant rocks. And far away, a narrow green line appears along the horizon, a small oasis hidden within the vast desert. The guide nods toward it. "Even in the driest lands," he says, "life finds a way to grow." The wind moves softly through the dunes again. Travel teaches us the same lesson. When we move slowly enough, we begin to see things we once rushed past. Arman looks again at the distant oasis. He realizes something surprising. The quiet desert no longer feels empty. It feels calm, peaceful, steady. The caravan soon rises again, the journey continuing across the warm golden sand. The bells begin ringing once more, soft and rhythmic. Step by step, across the ancient trade roads of Persia. And ahead, beyond the dunes, another quiet lesson waits among the trees of the oasis. The caravan continues its slow journey across the desert. The sun, now higher in the sky, its warm light spreading across the golden sand. But in the distance, the thin green line Arman noticed earlier begins to grow clearer. Tall palm trees appear above the horizon, their leaves moving softly in the warm breeze. The oasis. As the caravan approaches, the air begins to feel slightly cooler. Small patches of grass appear between sand. Birds circle above the trees. And soon, the caravan reaches the shade of the palms. The camels kneel slowly upon the ground. Travelers stretch their legs after the long walk. The gentle sound of flowing water can be heard nearby. Arman follows the old caravan guide toward the center of the oasis. A narrow spring flows quietly between smooth stones, clear water moving calmly beneath the shade of the trees. Beside the water, a man kneels in the soil of a small garden. He moves slowly, carefully placing water around the roots of young plants. The old caravan guide smiles when he sees him. "Ah," he says quietly, "just as I expected." Arman looks curious. "Who is he?" he asks. The guide lowers his voice slightly. "He is the keeper of this garden. For many years he has cared for these trees." They walk closer. The gardener looks up from his work, his face calm and peaceful, hands covered lightly with soil. He greets the travelers with a gentle nod. "Welcome," he says quietly. "The desert has carried you here safely." The guide sits beside the small stream, Arman joining him. The gardener continues watering the plants slowly. Arman watches for a moment. The work seems simple, almost slow. Does the garden grow well here? Arman finally asks. The gardener smiles slightly. The desert makes every garden difficult, but difficulty often teaches the most valuable lessons. He places another small cup of water beside a young plant. These trees cannot grow quickly. The soil is dry. The sun is strong. So each day I give them only what they need. A little water, a little shade, a little patience. The sound of the spring continues flowing beside me, soft and steady. Many travelers pass this oasis, the gardener continues. They drink the water and leave quickly, but they rarely notice the garden. He gently touches the leaves of a small plant. Growth often happens quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. Arman listens carefully. The desert wind moves through the palm, leaves above, creating a soft, whispering sound. The gardener looks toward the endless dunes beyond the oasis. The desert teaches patience, he says softly. But gardens teach something more. Care, attention, and calm persistence. Arman watches the small plants growing beside the spring. Even here, in the middle of the vast desert, life continues slowly and steadily. The old caravan guide stands and stretches his arms. The sun will soon begin to fall, he says. We must continue our journey before night. The camels are prepared once again, bundles secured, water skins filled. Arman takes one last look at the quiet oasis garden. The gardener continues watering the young trees, moving slowly, patiently, as if time itself has slowed beneath the shade of the palms. The caravan begins moving again, step by step, back into the endless Persian desert. But the lessons of patience and quiet care now travel with Arman along the ancient road. The caravan moves slowly across the quiet Persian desert, the sun now lowering gently toward the distant mountains. Long shadows stretch across the sand, soft golden light touching the tops of the dunes. The warm air begins to cool as evening approaches. Arman walks calmly beside the old caravan guide, the steady rhythm of the camels now familiar, comforting. The bells tied to their saddles ring softly with each step. A quiet music carried across the desert wind. Ahead, the sky slowly begins to change, orange fading into deep purple, and then into the calm blue of night. One by one, the first stars begin to appear above the vast Persian sky. The caravan finally stops beside a wide, open stretch of sand, a peaceful place to rest for the night. Small lanterns are lit, their warm glow flickering gently in the evening breeze. Camels kneel quietly in the sand. Travelers prepare simple meals beside small fires. Arman sits upon a smooth rock, looking upward. The sky above the desert now filled with countless stars, bright, still, silent. The old caravan guide sits beside him, watching the same peaceful sky. For thousands of years, he says quietly, travelers have crossed this desert. They have walked beneath these same stars. They have listened to the same wind moving across the dunes. He pauses for a moment, and each traveler learns something different from the journey. Arman looks across the quiet desert, the dunes glowing softly beneath the moonlight. He remembers the slow steps of the caravan, the quiet oasis garden, the patient hands of the gardener, and he begins to understand something simple. The desert does not rush. The garden does not hurry. The stars above move slowly across the sky, and life itself often unfolds in the same quiet way. Step by step, day by day, the wind moves softly across the sand, creating gentle patterns along the dunes. The caravan slowly grows quiet as the travelers fall asleep one by one. Only the soft desert breeze remains. Arman lies back upon the warm sand, watching the peaceful sky above him, the stars shining steadily, ancient lights that have guided travelers for countless generations. The desert air cool and calm, and the quiet wisdom of the journey settling gently within his mind. Far away, beyond the endless dunes, the world continues moving. Cities rise, rivers flow, gardens grow. But here, in this peaceful desert night, everything feels still, calm, balanced. The wind moves softly once more across the Persian sands. The lanterns glow faintly beside the sleeping caravan, and the stars continue their slow, silent journey across the sky. Allow this quiet desert night to surround you, the calm rhythm of the journey fading gently into the distance. Your breathing slow, your body resting peacefully, your mind drifting quietly beneath the endless stars. And like the patient desert road, sleep now carries you gently forward into deep, comfortable rest.